Hey guys, it's Joel from Move Be Fit, and I have a health tip for you in terms of sodium. Sodium, it's a necessary element. It definitely helps regulate proper bodily function, but also too much of it can attract and hold water. And when it attracts and holds water, it increases your blood volume, which makes your heart work harder, makes your arteries work harder, which can lead to things like hypertension and a host of other health consequences. So, how do we keep our salt, our sodium intake under wraps? Well, I'm glad you asked. I got a quick little way to show you how to read a food label that will hopefully break it down for you into just a few steps, and that way it'll take kind of the guesswork out of how to go about your day. So if you look over here, if you see these top two numbers here, you got 1,500 milligrams and 2,300 milligrams. These represent the national guidelines for dietary daily intake of sodium or salt. Ideally, they want us to be around 1,500 milligrams or less. The high end of that limit would be 2,300 milligrams. Okay, so what you're seeing here is kind of a little range that we should try to fall into, ideally staying below this. But most adults are way past that, 2-3 times that level. So how do we do that? How do we stay within range? Well, you got to look at it as a ratio. So here I've got 1,500 kilocalories and 2,300 kilocalories as an average caloric intake range for a normal size adult. So what you're seeing here is 1,500 milligrams, 1,500 kilocalories, 23 and 23. That's a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so if you look at food labels and you think of it in ratios, it's a lot easier to break it down. So here, what I've got is some products that we use every day. I've got some organic peanut butter, and I've got some organic ketchup, things that most people tend to use on a weekly basis. So let's look at the peanut butter first. So when you are trying to figure out how much sodium you should have or you should use, and if this product is okay or healthy enough, there's 3 things you want to pay attention to. Come back over here. You want to pay attention to the serving size, the calories per serving, and then ultimately the sodium on the label. Because the back of the label has a bunch of different numbers, percentages, different weight measures. It's really confusing. So if you pay attention to just these 3 titles, it's a lot easier to break it down. So let's go to the peanut butter. So the peanut butter, 1 serving would be 2 tablespoons. Next I'm going to look at the calories per serving, which would be 180 calories per serving. So if I'm using the principle of the 1-to-1 ratio, and if I'm going to eat 1,500 calories a day or 2,300 calories a day, and I wanted my sodium to fall within that range or below, I would need my sodium to be what? Well, ideally, we'd want it to be 180 calories or less, because if I eat 1,500 calories a day, it's going to fall below that automatically. So sodium on this would be 60. So that would be a healthy range. Okay? Now let's come back and look at the ketchup. Everyone uses ketchup. A lot of people do. Okay? This organic ketchup, we're going to look on this label. 1 serving size is 1 tablespoon. No one uses 1 tablespoon. I don't. Calories per serving, 15. So again, using our principle of the 1-to-1 ratio, how much sodium should this be to fall within a healthy range? It should be 15 or less. It's 150 milligrams. That's 10 times the amount of sodium that we would want for that product, for that serving size. So when you do this, go home, check some of your everyday products, especially soups, canned beans, things like that, and take these principles into account, paying attention to the serving size first, the amount of calories per serving, and then how much sodium, and play with that 1-to-1 ratio. If you stay within that 1-to-1 ratio, you'll always hit below the upper limits, and therefore you'll keep your sodium, your salt intake under wrap. Okay? For more health and fitness tips, come back to moveitbefit.com. I'll see you guys later.